Declan McKenna. Weirdly,
Who is that?
this is a wonderful musician who sometimes people come up to me, like the other week on the bus, someone came up to me and said, I loved your concert. You were
People
so
think
great.
that you're Declan McKenna.
And I've met him recently and he said the same thing happens to him.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, that's the plan. They're gonna settle down somewhere, find a place in the country, and just take it easy for a while after all their adventures. From the beginning, Charlie Covell, our writer, was really keen for Jess and myself to, voice our feelings about the characters. But ultimately, Charlie's voice is so clear for James that my job was sort of not to get in the way of her good writing.
It was lovely working with Jerome. He's such a pro, and I think shooting as quickly as we did over the course of 3 weeks, his sort of calmness and precision really sort of held.
Hello. When I was reading on set, I think the last book that I finished was On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I enjoyed that very much.
In the Imitation Game, I most enjoyed before shooting knowing very little or nothing about Alan Turing, and then finding out about this hero that had been forgotten as a consequence of our government's actions. So finding out about Alan.
We were so lucky to get Graham Coxon onto our show, and Graham produced lots and lots of tracks, I believe, because he really wanted to get the sort of the angst right behind the music. He's a genius, and I'm so happy that he's part of our show in that way.
Am I right in thinking you've just done a French language film? Is that right?
Yeah. I've not seen it, but it came me I was already so in such admiration for Pauline Etienne, and this was her first English language film, which is wonderful, and I know it was a big adventure for her, but I hadn't quite appreciated how daunting that is. And it was a joy to play in a foreign language. I did a film called The Translators, and that'll be released in October this year, and I just don't stop speaking in French throughout.
I suppose the first thing is if the writing is good, and if I'm reading the script and I want to get to the end, then generally I want to be part of ultimately telling that story. And then I suppose that is the biggest part of it.
One of the hardest scenes to shoot was at the bowling alley in episode 2, because the camera was in front of me. I'm not a very good bowler, and I kept throwing the bowling ball at the camera, and we kept having to cut for everyone's health and safety. That was one of the biggest challenges.
We were very lucky to shoot in a beautiful region in France, in the Loire Valley, which was gorgeous, and I really enjoyed working with French actors. An excuse to practice my French, my terrible French, a little bit. And Phoenix Brossard in the film Departure he's just like an acting animal. So yeah, it was a real pleasure to work alongside him.
And it was a pleasure, but it made me really doubly appreciate Pauline's sense of cool and style that she handled herself with during the shoot, when me on the reverse shooting in France, I just did not know what was going on all the time.
She is cool off camera,
yes.
Yeah.
I found it really easy to find James again, because for me, James is sort of the natural response to Alyssa's character. So as soon as I was on set with Jess Barden, all my worries about who James was were sort of dissolved. So yeah, as soon as I was with Jess, I knew I knew what my job was.
Eunice shoots Terry to help Alyssa and James escape because she now hates Terry. Is it over between Eunice and Terry? I mean, I think if Eunice shot Terry, yeah, that would probably bring an end to that relationship pretty quickly. Will James lose his good hand in season 2? James has got bigger problems.
No.
Don't know whether his hand is working or not in season 2.
There's no such thing as good and bad
No.
hands. I just looked down at your hand like, yo, where's... I don't think I've really seen your hand normal, really. That's so weird. I looked at it and was like, you've got such a small hand.
I remember being interviewed once.
But, like,
with
in a
you,
nice
and someone
way.
looked at the hand and they didn't know that James had a burnt hand yet. And they're like, oh, what the f*** is that? What
Oh
happened?
yeah, they're like, what?